Thank you, Sonic Yogi. John Adams, outside of Atlanta down there. And good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. Uh, it is another Sunday. This one is in August. Welcome to August. We're more than halfway through the summertime. Details on that if you're interested in it. There are all sorts of fascinating internet stories to tell this week, which we may or may not actually want to tell. You guys know the rules for when we're meeting on Zoom, which is keep yourself muted except when you're going to be sharing or when we're going to be talking all at once, like we're about to do now. So I invite you to go ahead and unmute and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I
I
open
open
myself
I
to
myself
open
to
love.
myself
love.
to love.
I open myself to something wonderful.
I
I
open
open
I
myself
open
to
myself to
something
myself to
something
wonderful.
something
wonderful.
wonderful.
I know that good is right here, right now.
I
I
know
know
I
that
that
know
good is
that
good
right
good
here,
is
right
right
now.
here,
right
right
now.
now.
And so it is.
And
And
so
so,
it
so it
is.
is.
All right, mute yourself one more time if you would, and I'll remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you into our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you. And welcome home. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs, according to our beliefs. The way we like to say it is your new life begins with a new thought. And there's a lot of nuance there. We've simplified it down to just the essence of this whole philosophy. And then we get to go into the practicality of it as we move on. So if you happen to have an extra electronic device that's working, that's connected to whatever it needs to be connected to, go ahead and put it on shush so it doesn't disturb you for the next hour or so. And we're going to be able to turn ourselves inward and to our the community that we're with. I'm Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today, coming from just outside Atlanta, is Sonic Yogi, John Adams. It is so wonderful to have John with us today. Our practitioners for the celebration are Breen, Rourke, RScP, who will lead us in meditation in a little bit, and Joe Catanzaro, RScP, who is going to open us the way we open everything, which is with a practical prayer on her brand new internet connection.
Yeah, new internet. Who knew? So, turn within and know with me. To set the scene here, this is the first day of the new moon. And new moons are for intention setting. What do we want to manifest? What do we want to have grow and develop in this time period? So I thought about that. And we have the power to do that because we are one with that one love, one power, one intelligence, one mind. That is the source of where we came from, who we are, and the power that we have to act on our beliefs and our intentions. So think of the intentions, think of the good that we could create here today and create over time in our lives. Love unfolding, stability, unity, harmony, flow and ease, confidence, standing in that power that flows through us. So as we come here today, sharing that power and amplifying. When we come together in community, we amplify the volume of those intentions, that energy, so that whatever we create just keeps growing and hopefully flowing out to the rest of our community. So for each one here, everything we bring, the light, the love, the intentions, the ideas, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything that we create today and always. I allow it, I accept it, and I claim all of this good for each one here. And in gratitude, I'll release my word to the law that always says yes. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. And the reason we do a prayer is because it works, because it changes something in our experience. And if you have not had the experience of doing a prayer and having something change in your experience, then I certainly invite you to give it a try, because indeed it does work. Anybody have a prayer works story, something that has happened in your as a result of your prayer practice that's brought about something fun and new? Go ahead and wave your hand, and you get a chance to share that. Go ahead, Robin. I know some of your story, but I love hearing it.
For the last for 2 weeks, I was admitted to the local hospital here in Truro, where I live. It's an hour north of Halifax, and I just thought initially it was a gallbladder attack, and went back to the hospital 24 hours later, and had an awesome surgeon that said something serious is going on, and I put my faith and my trust, and I just relinquished all doubt, and trusted the medical staff. And very thorough, very detailed, very trauma informed. They treated me as a person and not as a number. And through prayer and meditation and everything, my mindset shifted from being anxious to like just one of like peace and calm and come what may. And that is huge. And I was released on Friday, and it was the best belated birthday present I could have asked for. So I just like to say thank you for everybody for their kind words and thoughts and prayers and encouragement over the last 2 weeks. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Robin. Great story. And oh, along the way, she got into a private room, and outside the windows are flowers blooming. So, I mean, there are little prayer work stories all the way along there. So, yeah, thank you. Anybody else? A story to share? Go ahead, Breen.
So, sort of a continuing prayer for me has been around health and fitness. And I was excited to share a few weeks ago my return to running, which was swiftly interrupted by some pretty severe ankle pain. So I've been having some issues on the right foot for several years, and just getting very frustrated and angry, and trying to stay in prayer and keep the positive mindset. But it's difficult when everything around you is telling you something different in your experience. So anyway, I went to a foot and ankle guy that Jane said, "Oh, go see this guy. He's much closer than the other guy I went to." Got in quickly. Went to see him. Great experience. I saw 4 different people. I was telling Jane, someone walked me back to the room, took my medical history, and then the doctor came in and did an exam, and then the technician came in with the night splint to show me how to use it, and then someone else came in to talk to me about the return to running, and everyone was super nice and super helpful. And the morning I wore the night splint that night, and the next morning my ankle felt so much better already. And I was like, why didn't I go see this guy before? So, yeah, so prayer, it's for me, even as a practitioner, because I guess, I don't know, the way my mind works and understanding physics and the physical body, and I see it as a machine and mechanical limitations, yada, yada, yada. But then I just be open, and opening up and allowing, and I'm seeing good results already. So there you have it.
Beautiful. Love when that happens. Joe's got a story.
I have a story. So I had a private consultation with Reverend Bill about my tech at home, since I've been having trouble. And we determined that I needed to get a hold of Verizon and get some new equipment. So I made this appointment online, because of course you can't call anybody. And I had great trepidation going to the store for this appointment. It was unbelievable. The guy was so nice. He was kind. He was patient. He didn't make me feel stupid for not knowing what I was doing. he was just wonderful. And I have a new router, new stuff. It's first step in a chain of other things. And it was just so nice to have help. And then I had to go back the next day or the day after to to get my phone wiped, because I also got a new phone out of the deal. And it didn't have the same guy, but I had the same experience. So I was really, really impressed. So prayer works.
I love when that happens. Last call, Christine. There you are.
I unmuted there.
We got
you. um, so I have been thinking, not necessarily, I mean, it's prayer, but it's just thought in terms of spiritual economics. And so things have been coming my way without me even addressing that singular point. So like my toilet broke. It's not the kind with the chain that I could just like replace that or whatever. It's got a metal hinge and all this stuff. I'm getting a free toilet, which is awesome. William's bike was stolen. I had someone offer me a bike without even them knowing that my son needed a bike when I was looking on Facebook for bikes that I could maybe pick up cheap. I have been wanting to change jobs. And I had 3 offers this weekend that give me flexibility and money, which is good, which is awesome. So those intentions have been there generally, from planting of other seeds through prayers. And I think, it's really cool. So it's just like this windfall of prosperity. And I am very grateful.
I love when that happens. I love when that happens. And we'll get into that a little bit more later, is when we get into a prayerful practice, into a spiritual practice, it changes the events and the specifics and the stuff in our life, but it also changes the flow and the texture as well. We'll get more to that later. In the meantime, if you have a kazoo nearby, we are about to toot in the announcements with Jane.
Okay. This heat wave of information is on the website at newthoughtphilly.org. Sign up there for the weekly e-newsletter so we can keep in touch. We host 15-minute meditations on Zoom twice every day. If you haven't taken part lately, Zoom in this week. They're inspiring, fun, and quick. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings this week are also on Insight Timer Live. The Practical Prayer Podcast is Manifestation. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Join in behind the scenes at the live recording session on Monday at 1 p.m. on New Thought Media Network. There's still time to join the summer book study class on This Thing Called You, the most heartfelt book by Ernest Holmes. It picks up again on Monday, August 12th on Zoom at 7 p.m. Just $25 for single sessions, no experience needed. The Personal Practitioner course beginning in the fall will boost your spiritual practice to the next level. Classes will be on Tuesday afternoons. Contact Reverend Bill to see what you need to do to be ready. There is no obligation to continue to professional training in year 2. Tune out the fear, tune in the vision. For 100 days until the election, we are cultivating a special mindfulness practice to raise the vibration for all involved. To take part, text JOIN to 470-784-0250. Save the date for a special workshop with our friend Dr. Jerry Troyer on Sunday, September 8. It will be hybrid after the celebration at Falzer and on Zoom. Details coming soon. Follow, subscribe, like, and share our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube, and join the 1,868 spiritual adventures in our group on meetup.com. We are always grateful for your financial support. You can make a tax-deductible donation by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, credit, or debit card. And thank you to the team that makes our celebrations work and has fun doing it. We get together before the celebration to put the pieces in order. To join the joy, contact our volunteer coordinator. Next Sunday is hybrid at Falzer with Lean In. Instead of fight, flight, or freeze, Reverend Bill explores ways that we can become more intentional and respond in a way that brings in more light and love. Live music by our old friend, Ev. Is it Reheard?
Reheard, yep.
The practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Joe is available for a quick miracle and a minute prayer. And we'll leave the Zoom meeting open after the celebration for casual conversation.
So look around the group. I'm seeing folks that have been here before. So let us give ourselves a little bit of a blessing. Clap your hands together. Feel the warmth. Look at the group that we are with. Share that love and feel that love coming back at you. We are the bright lights of God's love. I am so grateful for the way that that love is flowing and that light is shining. And so it is. Sonic Yogi is going to do another number for us. And while he does, go ahead and gallery view or scroll between the individual pictures so you can make eye contact with the folks we're in community with. Wow. Thank you, John. That was awesome. Joe Catanzaro is going to lead us in our Flames of Faith today.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the earth-based traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. Blessed be.
Blessed be. The reading today comes from Anton's first anthology book. The second one is just in the process of being released now. The first one, which is New Thoughts for Today. Scopy is going to read a selection by our friend Martha Krieg.
Good morning, everyone. This selection is entitled Change, and it starts with a quote. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. From Leo Tolstoy. Most people I know would say they like change or want to change. However, it is only somewhat true. We look for tools, ways, and means, ideas, as well as prompts to lead us to the direction of change. Becoming our best self, I believe we have a wholesome desire for freedom, to know the truth, and to live authentically. This term came to me from a book, The 5 Invitations. The tenets are powerful for maturity, training, and change. Being it, with it, and accepting it. The invitations are, number 1, don't wait. Number 2, include everything, resist nothing. Number 3, bring your whole self to experiences. And number 4, find rest in the middle of all things. And number 5, cultivate the don't know mind. None of these invitations are easy. However, each and every one of them hold great potential for change and being freer in change. People often don't really change by themselves. Changing takes work, a coach, a sponsor, a mentor, spiritual director, reading, contemplation, reflection, witnessing, mirroring, support, and a great big dose of willingness. With divine support, practice, and spiritual community, we change from inside. We create lives that have purpose, defined by having elements of joy in all we do, growing the individual self and living with the certainty that we are beneficial to others. And I end with the quote, I change my thinking to change my experience. I let reality be reality. I let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they come.
Thank you, John. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Our mind tells us that change takes some period of time, that there's an unfolding that happens, and that change is sometimes it takes a while. And it turns out that transformation begins in an instant. And just as an illustration of the ways that we think about this, we've been having a bunch of difficulties at the house here with our internet connection. And it's not inside the house, it's outside the house. And it's one of those things where it was working just fine a minute ago, or it was working just fine last week, or I didn't change anything and now suddenly it's different. Well, yeah. That's the way that newness happens. Uh, Transformation begins in an instant. And there's so many examples that I can give you of times that this happens and where you just naturally assume, oh yeah, well that's a great explanation of that. If you've ever made popcorn, you start out with the popcorn kernels and you start heating them, and they are just sitting there being popcorn kernels for a while, and then suddenly they're popcorn. And the transformation, once it starts happening, just happens. If you've ever spent any time with adolescent boys, um, they go along with a squeaky voice, and then suddenly their voice starts to change. And it happens in an instant. And then they never go back. They never go back to the squeaky voice again. Their voice changes. And it's one of those things that happens. And there are so many things in your life that are that way. There are so many things in your experience that are that way. We're talking about newness and newness now because the transformation can happen instantaneously. The change is always unfolding. And sometimes it's change that we're anticipating, and sometimes the things that don't seem like they're new at all. Joe pointed out that today is a new moon. And I have reason to believe that it's not actually new. It's been there for quite some time. However, that's not what we're talking about. There is a cycle and an unfolding. And what happened is the moon and the earth and the sun got into relative positions where what we're seeing now is the newness. And it comes out being different in experience based on where we are in that process. The newness is at hand right now. I got into a conversation with my nephew, and he is interested in fulfillment. He's gotten himself involved in a spiritual practice that's about fulfillment. And fulfillment is one of those wonderful terms where when we're talking about what it means for us personally, then fulfillment is a very individual thing. And if we get ourselves into a group where somebody else has a standard of what fulfillment is, it's about having a family, it's about having a relationship, it's about being successful in business, it's about doing or having or being or expressing and having that life experience in a particular lane or alignment or unfolding that other people are saying is wonderful, then that's not personal fulfillment at all. That's getting a merit badge in somebody else's system. And there's nothing wrong with merit badges. You know, if what you want to do is be certified and learn how to save somebody's life using cardiopulmonary resuscitation, then along the way there's going to be a CPR test, and you get to go and demonstrate again that you have those skills and abilities. And having that merit badge and knowing how to do that, knowing what the process is, and as in Joe's case, even knowing what's wrong with the test the way that they're giving it now. We had a conversation about that some time ago. And she says, yeah, if I had to do onto a person what I did to that to the dummy during the test, I would have broken their neck and killed them. So, and it's about understanding what it is that we are doing as we're earning that merit badge and being the best us that we're going to be. And so what I'm going to say is that fulfillment, personal fulfillment, is about understanding and identifying the unique gifts that we have. What are the skills and talents, abilities, perspectives, desires, preferences that I have that are innate to me, that are unique to me? And how do I use those in such a way that I am going to bring out some newness, some success, some fulfillment in my experience. Newness is always happening. Newness is underway at this very moment. It is happening now. And it is a very simple process that we can turn into a spiritual practice by setting an intention, by being aware that that newness is possible. There's a creative power that's creating something new right now, by opening that invitation and then getting out of the way. See, if you do things the way that you've done things, then you're going to get things the way that you got things. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I once asked a group, about what's the next new thing that they want to have in their life, and a friend of mine says, "I'm really happy with my life the way it's going now." He's kind of a stumper, and it brought to my mind breathing. I've been breathing just fine, and I have every expectation that it's going to continue going just fine. But I want my next breath to be deep and full and everything that is required of it. So go ahead and take a deep breath in. Let yourself be filled. And you can acknowledge in your mind that breath was going to happen anyway, whether you're paying attention to it or not. And as good as it is, let it go. Deep, full breath out. Release. Set the intention to have another deep, full breath. Then take it in. You get to the top, hold that breath as long as you can until your body says it's time to let go. And whenever that is, let it go. Get out of the way. Don't insist on that breath being all there is. Be in the process of having that newness now. Be in the process of setting an intention, opening yourself up to a new possibility, and getting out of the way. Once you continue breathing at your own pace, you can periodically remind yourself, oh, I've been breathing. You don't have to pay attention to it all the time. It's something that you can be aware of or not. But when you are aware of it, let that be a reminder of the newness that you're inviting into your life. And when you're breathing out, of the attachment to the things being the way that they have been, letting go. So we have been having some difficulties in our house with the internet, and I squarely blame it on my internet service provider. And they are making me deal with their automated chat assistants and their robot that has no idea what's going on. Their customer service team spread out all over the globe, apparently in places where it's less expensive to hire people than it is right here in the good old USA. And I understand that they've got their thing. They've got their system, they've got their process. And I also understand the huge frustration that I have as they're suggesting for the 18th time that maybe the problem is because I didn't rent a router from them. And the problem is that I bought my own. And maybe that's where the problem is. It's like, no, we had a technician out here 3 weeks ago. We pretty much identified this up on the pole in the neighborhood someplace, and you guys haven't fixed that yet. And it's very frustrating to have to go through that same process over and over and over again. And on Friday, I think I just got so frustrated that I went over to the gym and I brought my computer with me because they have Wi-Fi there, and I sat in the little table in the lobby and I did a bunch of my work from there. And thinking about how dependent I am on access to the internet. And this was even before we all went home for the pandemic and had to figure out how to do things remotely. We all have such a dependence on being connected instantaneously. Who thinks about how long it would take to write a letter and send it to somebody and then hear back from them as a means of communication? We don't do that anymore. We are used to being able to go on the web and click on a thing and have it show up at our house the next day, or to solve a problem or get a piece of information, et cetera, et cetera. But the internet is not really that old. The World Wide Web was actually born about 30 years ago. In the early 1990s is when Tim Berners-Lee came up with the idea of the web and made the first browser. Before that, there was no web. Before that, there was an internet, but it wasn't what it is today. At this point, the internet touches every place on Earth, pretty much. Even with Starlink, places that don't have a wire going directly to them are part of the internet. It is a mesh that touches everything. This was not always the case. In the 1960s, there was this idea of setting up a network and configuring it so that you can communicate and share information and resources around the world. Here's a picture of the first internet that was built. That was it in 1969. There were 4 nodes, 3 in California, 1 in Utah. If you were at the Stanford Research Institute and you needed to communicate with somebody who was involved in the same program at UCLA, you could do that. If you wanted to go on Amazon, hadn't been invented yet, wasn't going to be for quite a while. If you wanted to look something up on Google, hadn't been invented yet, wasn't going to be for quite a while. There was newness that was possible then. There was an idea of somebody saying, let's do something. Let's start this way and allow it to grow and become something bigger. And we get to invite newness by being willing to be the change that we want to see coming about in the world. There's newness now, and it's happening for us and through us and in us, and it happens all the time. Now, you don't have to go out and invent the internet. You don't have to go out and be the first person who does a financial transaction on the internet, which, by the way, it was recorded, and it was somebody in Philadelphia buying a record from somebody else. They paid for it with a credit card over the internet. But by being aware of the circumstance and the situation that we're having in our life now, and being aware of the experience that we would prefer to have, we can invite that change, then we can do whatever's our part to do. We can let go of everything that's not ours to do. That's where the getting out of the way is. And maybe there's something that is mine. Maybe in order for this change to come about, there is something that I get to be as that change is happening. And the newness comes in our experience in so many different ways. I was speaking a little earlier about having a spiritual practice, a prayer practice of intentionality, of being able to set an intention and create something new in our lives. And once we learn to do it, once we gain some mastery at the technique, then there's the possibility of praying continuously, to put ourselves into that tone and texture and flavor of being aware of our connection with that infinite creative power. And then the newness tends to show up in our lives in surprising ways that we didn't necessarily do a specific prayer about. And I'll tell a story about something that happened. So I had noticed a few weeks over the course of the last few weeks that I haven't talked to Annie in a long time. And she'd been a member of the board. She'd been around New Thought Philadelphia, and she went off in a different direction for a while, doing some stuff. So I was noticing that I hadn't heard from Annie in a while. And Tuesday, Dina and I took a road trip. We went up to Jim Thorpe to ride the Gorge train. And as we're driving up the Northeast Extension, we drove past where Annie's house is. And I remarked to Dina that I hadn't heard from Annie in quite some time. And before we got to the parking lot at Jim Thorpe, I got a text message from Annie saying, "Do you have some time to talk today?" And, we managed to reconnect and have that change happen. Now, was my life completely transformed because I heard from Annie? No, but that's the richness and the tone and the texture and the flavor. It doesn't all need to be huge. It can be about observing that the moon is a tiny little sliver, that it's a new moon. And to understand that there's a full moon on the way. And when we see the full moon, to understand that there's going to be a waning moon, and then there's going to be another new moon, and the process continues. And the newness is happening, and the newness is always now. So the transformation starts instantaneously. And for the boy who is looking at all of his friends that are, have had a growth spurt, they're the shortest one in the room, to understand that that transformation can happen, and that voice change can happen, and that the newness is available, and it's available instantaneously. And once it happens, the change happens. Have you ever thought about unpopping popcorn? No, it doesn't work that way. Once the newness happens, there's something new in the world. Once we have seen that something is possible, even more of it becomes possible. Once we had 4 nodes connected on the internet, along with an intention, and quite honestly, some money, there was some additional possibilities that were possible. So the invitation for you is, what newness are you inviting? What is it that you would like to have in your experience next? What is that newness that you want to have, that you're ready for now? Figure out if there's something in the way of that, and let yourself get out of the way. Set the invitation, get out of the way, and invite in the newness. And report back, because I'm looking forward to hearing the stories of that blossoming. So you deserve it. We all deserve it. So it is.
Oh, thank you. Ah, beautiful. We could just sit in that for the next 10 minutes or so. Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to lead us now in a meditative practice. And I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and it just flows so easily and effortlessly with Bill's talk and some of the ideas he presented. Yeah, I was thinking about now and new and how similar they are. The only difference is one vowel. And that how change and newness only happens in the now. It might take a while to get there, but now is when it's new. So we're going to work on that a little bit in the meditation. So I invite you to get comfortable where you are. If you can, sit with your back straight, your feet flat on the floor. Maybe place your hands in your lap, palms up. Close your eyes or allow them to go to a soft focus and just relax. And Bill had us take some deep breaths, and we're gonna do that again. We're gonna take a series of 3 deep breaths. Each time we're gonna breathe in fully, knowing that every breath we take is new. It's not the same air. It's not the same molecules. Might be similar, but it's not the same. It's new. Let's take a nice deep breath in, fully breathing in. Hold. Feel a little tension. And exhale. Just be here now in that moment, that exhale. Feel your body relax. Feel the tension start to wash away. Another deep breath in, breathing in fully. Hold. Feel a little tension in your chest. And exhale. Just feel that release as you exhale. Feel yourself relax. One more deep breath in. Hold. Hold a little while longer. Feel that tension. Exhale. And feel that release. Allow your breathing to find a gentle, even pace. Just be here in this moment now, where everything is new in this now moment. In the early 70s, Ram Dass put out a book, Be Here Now. It was kind of seminal, a bit revolutionary at the time. I often use that mantra in my meditation. That I am here now. We can change one vowel. I am here, new. Each moment is new. Each moment we are new. Open up to that newness. Open up to that unlimited field, divine potentiality that is here now. I am here, new. I am here, new. As you breathe each new breath, let's take that mantra into the silence and just repeat to yourself as you're aware. I am here, new.
Be here now. Be here new. Connect with your source. Connect with your inner beingness where the divine lives within you. Imagine that newness. Add detail. Add depth. And allow. Open to it. Open to different possibilities of that newness. Allow some more. Open some more. Allow your creative power to come into play. Allow spirit to work through you. And finally, be grateful. Be grateful for all of it. Move around a little bit, show your shoulders. Move your hands or feet. Stretch your back a little bit. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back to this wonderful space we're sharing currently and listen to another song by Sonic Yogi.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Sonic Yogi, again. So there's some new things to think about, some new possibilities. And if there's something that's coming up for you, go ahead. This is an opportunity to raise your hand either in person or using a little reaction button and give voice to whatever's coming up for you. Breen.
Yeah, really just thinking about this idea of newness and how, like you were saying, it's like it's instantaneous, but it might take a long time to get there, right? Because at some point something isn't what it was anymore. And it has changed and it's new. And that's, like, the chicken or the egg, which came first. And I think I know because the egg came first, because any bird can lay an egg, but only a chicken can come out of the chicken egg. So I'm not going to go way too far down there, but I think about times in my life where things new happened and being open to the newness and that it can come, in a moment. And the most recent thing, when I heard, that President Biden had decided to step away and endorse Kamala Harris, like in that moment, like it was this fundamental shift in how I felt and how I thought and how I was looking at this next, several months. And it was an instantaneous shift. Jane and I were talking about it, and I was like, I instantly shifted into this hopeful and excited rather than this sort of, oh, we got to stop this guy. It's like, oh, now we can move into something new and exciting and the potential. It was really new in an instant. So that's what excites me about new, is it can come in an instant. And I've had those experiences in my life. And the most profound one, and this would be it, was 40 some years ago, when I had a spiritual experience in jail, and I was not the same person I was. I stopped drinking, drugging, and being a crazy person. And I don't know when in that night it happened, but at one point I was just different. And it can happen. So new can happen like that. And it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Breen. Thank you, Breen. Yeah, new can happen. I'm going to invite Jane to go ahead and share up on our offering with us now.
Okay. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen, and we'll say the affirmation together. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with
the infinite source of all good.
I am a
I am
center
a
of
center of
prosperity. I enjoy the
I enjoy the
richness of life.
richness of
I
life.
bless my
I
gift.
bless my gift. I share my gift
with gratitude and joy.
I know that
I know
As
that
I
as I
give,
give, I do
receive.
so it is.
So it
And
is.
so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Sonic Yogi, one more for us? Oh, thank you, John. Thank you so much. Awesome. Awesome and wonderful. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for being your brand new self, inviting in that now. And let us close with another cacophony. Go ahead and unmute and repeat after me. I am new.
I am new.
I am now.
I am now.
This I know,
This I
I
know.
know.
I know.
and so it is.
And
And
so
so
it
it
So it
is.
is.
Woohoo.
Woo.
Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank
That
you
was
all.
great.
Yeah. And
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Comcast, for only going out once.
What a wonderful service. Yeah.
It was.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we're at Falls next Sunday. Anybody wants to come by?
I'll be there.
Joe, are you going to be there? Or are you off doing some vacation
No,
thing?
I'll be there.
Oh, you will?
No, I won't. I'm going to a wedding.
You're going to a
I
wedding.
won't.
That's right. You're blocked out, so to speak.
Yes,
Okay, we'll miss you.
I know.
Nia, what a great t-shirt.
Thank you. Noodles. I love them when I was a child. I hate them now.
Well, everyone have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week on Zoom.
Thank you,
Bye.
Karen.
Bye,
You
Karen.
as well. Be well.
Thanks.
Take care, everyone. Have a good week.
Thank you, John's
Bye,
hand.
Robin.
Wonderful to have you there.
Always.
Hi, Kathy.
Yeah. Oh, and Breen, just so you know, the Ajna is now in the Google Drive in the meditation music.
Oh, cool.
So
Awesome.
there we go.
Fantastic.
Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day.
You too.
Yep.
If you want to be online, be online. If you want to be outside, be outside. And hopefully the universe will conspire with you to make it all happen.
Amen.
See you later.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
See you, Kathy.